Hari Om children, welcome to Max class. Let's start our class with prayer. Sit straight, join your hands, close your eyes, chant Om 3 times. Take a deep breath. Om. 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 Om Sagana Bhavatu Saganau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavit Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Learning objectives. From this class, children are going to understand about midpoint formula.
Let's focus on the midpoint now. You've used the midpoint formula before, and it's commonly thought of as the average x-coordinate and the average y-coordinate. Let's see why. If we have 2 points, P1 and P2, let's say their coordinates are x1, y1 and x2, y2. Well, halfway between P1 and P2, there is some point, let's call it M, that is equidistant. That's the midpoint, right? I'll let its coordinates just be x and y. So the midpoint formula is saying that if you use the coordinates of P1 and you use the coordinates of P2 and plug them into this formula, it's going to calculate an x and a y that are halfway between P1 and P2. So it's kind of interesting that the formula turns out to just be the average of the x values and the average of the y values. That seems intuitive, and a lot of people just accept it because once they see it, they think, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? But why is that true? In Algebra 2, we've got to prove everything as we go through. So let's see if we can prove this. I'd like to start by making some right triangles in the picture. There's some horizontal lines, and there's some mostly vertical lines. Okay, what do we know about these two right triangles? The red lines are parallel and the blue lines are parallel, right? Keep that in mind. Since the red lines are parallel, P1, P2 is a transversal that crosses them both, so we can say that these two angles are congruent. Similarly, the vertical lines are also parallel, and P1, P2 is a transversal across them as well, so we know that these angles are also congruent. Well, we were given the information in the first place that M is equidistant between P1 and P2, so we also know that these are congruent. And so now we have angle side angle. Let's label these new points also, so that we can name those triangles. So the triangles are P1MA and MP2B, and those are congruent. And so all their parts are congruent that correspond. That's going to help us in our proof. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the other parts of the triangles to make some equations using the coordinates, and then figure out if we can prove this midpoint formula. So the first thing I'm going to do is look at those two red lines. Not only are they parallel, but now because they're parts of two congruent triangles, we know that they are congruent as well. The distance from P1 to A is equal to the distance from M to B. We can also say that those blue line segments are congruent, so the distance from M to A is equal to the distance from P2 to B. All right, using those equations, we're going to make equations using our coordinates. Well, we need to name the coordinates for A and B, and we haven't done that yet. So where is A? The x coordinate for A is lined up with M, so it's x, and the y coordinate for A is lined up with P1, so it's y1. Now B, let's see, the x coordinate is lined up with P2, so that would be x2. And the y coordinate is lined up with m, so it would just be y. All right, now I think all our coordinates are labeled, and we can start writing some equations here. The distance from P1 to A would be x minus x1, since they're arranged in a horizontal line. And the distance from M to B would be x2 minus x. Now let's solve for x, since that's the coordinate of the midpoint. I'm going to move all my x's to the left and move my x1 over to here. Okay, let's see what we've got. We've got 2x is equal to x2 plus x1. And if I divide both of those by 2, you can see that this is pretty much my midpoint formula. Let's clean it up and rearrange it. And there's the x-coordinate of the midpoint right there. Let's try the y's now. The distance from M to A is y1 minus y, and the distance from P2 to B is y minus y2. So let's see, how could we get our y's together and our other things away from that? I'm just going to move that over there, and I'm going to add a y2 to both sides. And let's see what we've got now. y2 plus y1 is equal to 2y. This looks familiar, right? We can finish it off just like we did with the x's and neaten it up a little bit. So y is equal to y1 plus y2, all divided by 2. And there is our y-coordinate of the midpoint. And that's our proof of the midpoint formula.
Midpoint between the points 1, 1 and 3, 5. I already went ahead and plotted both of these points. As you can see, this has an x component of 1, a y component of 1, so where those two projections cross is the point 1, 1. This one has an x component of 3, so you go over 1, 2, 3 on the x-axis, and you go up 5 on the y-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and where these two projections cross gives you the point 3, 5. And let me just go ahead and label this x and y so it's clear. So we want to find the midpoint between these 2 points. And the answer is actually going to be the same as the center of the line segment connecting these 2 points. So either way you want to think about it, the point that's directly in the middle of these two or the center of this line segment. So either one you're looking for, it'll give you the same answer. So let's go back to the midpoint formula. It was x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So really, this is in the form of a point. This is the x component of the point, and this is the y component of the midpoint. So basically, we just need to figure out what our x1, x2, y1, and y2 are, and then we can simplify. So we're just going to go ahead and rename this point x1, y1. And this one we're going to rename x2, y2. So I could have named these ones x2, y2, and these ones x1, y1, and it doesn't really matter which way I do it. And the midpoint formula is going to give you the same answer either way, so just take your pick. As long as one of them is both 1s and the other one is both 2s, you'll do fine. So let's go ahead and write down x1 here. Now x1 is the left-hand side, or the x component, so it refers to the left-hand side or the x component of this point, which is a 1. And x2 refers to the x component or the left-hand side of this point, so that gives us the 3. So now we can build the x component of our midpoint. x1 plus x2 is simply just 1 plus 3. And then that's divided by the 2. And so now we want to find our y1 and our y2. And so y1 refers to the right-hand side, or the y component of this point, which is a 1. And the y2 refers to the right-hand side, or the y component of this point, so that's a 5. So then really, y1 plus y2 is simply 1 plus 5. And then that's divided by our 2. So we have the midpoint, but let's go ahead and simplify it. 1 plus 3 is simply 4, and then that's still divided by the 2. And the 1 plus 5 is a 6, which is divided by the 2. And we can further simplify. 4 divided by 2 simply gives us 2. 6 divided by 2 gives us 3. And there we have it. We have our simplified midpoint. And so this is going to be the point directly between these 2 points, or in the center of this line segment. So let's go ahead and plot it. This has an x component of 2. So starting on the x-axis at 0, go over 1, 2. We'll just draw our little component dot here. And a y component of 3, starting at 0, going up 1, 2, 3 on the y-axis. And so connecting these two projections right here should land us right in the center of this line segment. And it looks like it does. And so where these two projections cross, we put the point there, which represents our midpoint, 2, 3. And as you can see, it falls directly in the center of these 2 points, or in the center of this line segment. So there you go. That was an example on how to use the midpoint formula to find the midpoint of a line segment, or the midpoint of 2 points.
Children, let's recap the today's class. Midpoint formula. The midpoint M of the line segment joining the points A of x1, y1 and B of x2, y2 is M of x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2. Learning outcomes. At the end of the class, children all learned the midpoint formula and how to apply the midpoint formula to find the midpoint between 2 given points. Let's finish this class with eye exercise and Shanti Mantra. Thank you. Hari Om.
And become aware you want to be grateful to your eyes, and you want to do something good for your eyes. Open your eyes, look towards the right and towards the left, towards the right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Close your eyes. Open your eyes again. Look up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Close your eyes. Feel your eyes. And with each exhalation, send relaxing energy from your abdomen to your eyes and through your eyes. Open your eyes again. Now look to the upper right, lower left, 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 upper right, lower left. Close your eyes, open your eyes again. Look towards the upper left, lower right, upper left, lower right, upper left, lower right, upper left, lower right, upper left, lower right. Close your eyes and send relaxing energy from your abdomen towards your eyes. Open your eyes again and make no circular movement clockwise. Look up and then slowly to the right and to the bottom and to the left and up to the right, down, and continue a few times. Try to make it complete circles and not just squares. This practice also helps of the brain. No, other direction, counterclockwise. To slow conscious movement. And slowly close your eyes. And feel. Now open up your eyes again and stretch out your right arm. Thumb, the level of your eyes. Look towards your thumb. Look far away. Back to your thumb. Now look towards the tip of your nose. To your thumb. Far away. Your thumb. Tip of your nose. Thumb. Far away. Thumb. Tip of your nose. Thumb. Far away, thumb, tip of your nose, thumb, and far away. Close your eyes. Now, lift up your hands a little bit and rub your palms, warming up your palms and increasing the life force, the prana in your hand and your hand chakras. Put your palms over your eyes and feel the energy of your palms radiate into your eyes. Feel that calming, soothing, relaxing energy. Slowly relax your hands, lower your hands. And you can do this wonderful breathing exercise every day. Your eyesight will improve. You don't need to get headache. And you come to clearer and clearer insights. Lisa and Sukadev wish you a day full of insights, full of calmness, peace and compassion.
Om Purnamata Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.